Deputy Minister of Trade and Industry Mzwandile Masina says South Africa is close to finalizing key trade agreements with the rest of the continent, which will be realized within the next 5 years.
I think that the President was trying to explain that one of the things we've been able to pioneer as South African government was to convince the entire SADC that we have to industrialize our economies. So the program on black industrialists basically begins to tap into the work that the continent will be doing. I mean the SADC will be doing within the context of the continent. So we want to ensure that we have a lot of our people who are involved in the productive sectors of the economy, so that we can ensure that we add value to the goods that we produce and eventually sell either to ourselves as a continent or to the rest of the world.
Now, this is a question for South Africa, but the broader SADC region as well. Why have we seen over the years that there's been so much deindustrialization on the continent?
Well, it's many factors. That's why there's a realization that we have to reindustrialize our economy, because look, if we don't add value to the products that we produce, we have a lot of minerals in South Africa. We have a lot of minerals in the continent. So it's only logical that we have to reindustrialize, add value to those minerals, sell them at the price that is appropriate, so that we're able to add value to our economy. Because all of us, in one way or the other, you know, our economy is growing at about 1.5%, and we believe that if we can add value to the minerals that we have as South Africa, but also as the continent, we could do much more better. As you know, that the economic growth in the continent is much better because of some of the actions that have been taken by some of the governments. So that is why all of us are saying now we have to move together and ensure that we move up the value chain, the things that we do, so that we can have a better economic growth that will result in jobs, because that is a main problem that we're having as South Africans.
Of course, Minister, it's laudable and it's correct that you should be planning for the future and wanting to create black industrialists. But whether they're black or white or whatever it may be, we have the problem of the power deficit. Which comes first, the chicken or the egg? Don't we need to solve the power crisis first before we worry about industrializing? Look,
we have an energy challenge in South Africa. It's not a crisis, simply because of the political decision. The energy was meant to supply minority of the people. When the ANC came into power in 1994, the first thing we had to do was to provide electricity to the majority of our people. And upon realizing that the power was not sufficient, we started building power stations. We are building third and the fourth largest coal-powered station in the world, because we've realized that we're going to generate additional 10,000 kilowatts once Medupi, Kusile and Ngula comes through. So we are solving the challenge. It's a challenge for now. That is why we have been asking South Africans to use electricity sparingly over time, so that we can go through this particular phase. And it's not unique to us as South Africans. It has happened in the continent, it has happened elsewhere. But we have to understand our challenge, navigate through it, and in no time, I think we'll be over the crisis of electricity.